The last thing you want is for something to go wrong with your plumbing, but it happens a lot. And the last thing you want when there's water spraying all over your kitchen or your toilet is overflowing is looking up reviews on which plumber you should call. So let me save you some time. Call the Art of Plumbing. They're always on time. They can locate the problem and fix it right away. They even help with solutions to stop any future problems. Save time. Call the Art of Plumbing today. 541-951-9405.
Welcome into Other People's Shoes, of course. You know I'm your host, Neil Matthews, and today I get to sit down with Amber. She's the president of Southern Oregon Runners Club, and I get to sit down with Jerry as well, who's one of the founding members of the Southern Oregon Runners Club. Two very unique perspectives on running. If you're a runner, you're going to want to stay tuned for this. If you're not a runner, you're going to want to stay tuned for this as well, because we talk about some practical ways that you can start running right away. So maybe that's your New Year's resolution. I know it's only October, but hey, never too early to start. On your marks, get set, let's go.
Hey, come take a walk with me, not like you used to do. Do something different and put yourself in other people's shoes. Open up your mind and open up your eyes and change your direction, change your perspective.
Welcome into Other People's Shoes, of course. I am your host, Neil Matthews. Welcome to Puck's Donuts here in Phoenix, Oregon. Great place to come and get donuts. It is right off at 99. You can't miss it. There is a quite, I would say, peppermint pink kind of donut thing across or out in their parking lot there. Great place to come get a donut, cup of coffee. Small little place, but don't let the size fool you. It is a great place to come get a donut. Dozen donuts, I'm sure, are available for you all the time. So, but help me welcome my guest today. We are sitting with a president. So, without further ado, let's just cue this up. That's right, folks. We get to sit with the president of the Southern Oregon Runners Club, Amber. Amber, how are you today?
Great. I'm so glad people can't see how red my face is.
We talked about a little pre-show, so she did know that was coming, but she didn't know about it before our recording. And of course, I want to introduce our other guest, Jerry. Jerry, how are you today?
I'm excellent, thank you.
Jerry, now I got to lead off with this very important question for both of you. So before we get into too much awesome and running stuff and running club stuff, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff today. But this is the most important question that everyone has to answer, and that's this. And you guys can answer it, whoever wants to go first. Maybe we go ladies first. But what size shoes do you wear?
7.5.
7.5.
Yes.
And is there a certain brand that you like to wear?
I'm a Nike Pegasus fan.
You're a Nike Pegasus. Now, do you want to go colors, or are we going to go too far down the road?
Whatever's on clearance.
Whatever's on clearance. But Nike Pegasus is where we're at. Okay, so we're going to try to put on two shoes at the same time. And Jerry, same question to you. What size shoe and then brand that you like?
I wear 10.5 ASICS, which is the old Tiger back when it was first brought out.
The Tiger brand
It
even.
was a Tiger brand.
Yeah, I remember those. Well, I mean, I don't remember those. I remember seeing them through the years of being an ASICS guy myself. So, wow, okay, Tiger brand. And then how many pairs of shoes do you guys own? Do you know? All combined, like dress shoes, running shoes, everything. I always like to know this too.
30.
30? Amber's like, I'm not sure. I got to go back and count. Jerry, what do you got?
Well, good shoes, probably a couple, 3 pair, and running shoes, 4 pair.
Okay. You're not as bad as I am. I have upwards of 50.
Wow.
That's so embarrassing because I have a shoe issue, I think. There's a lot. There's a lot of shoes. So guys, take me back to the starting line for you guys. Where did running start for you guys? Where did it really begin? Where did the journey start?
Oh, I gotta go first. Okay,
Yeah.
So the journey started for me when my dad decided he was ready for us to do something that we could all do as a family. And so he signed our family up for Southern Oregon Sizzlers at the time.
So what year is this?
1998,
Okay.
I think.
All right.
Yeah. So it's we started doing that, and we started. I think one of our first races was Rooster Crow, and then
Was that out in Rogue River?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my running journey started.
Okay. All right. Jerry, how about you? Where did it start for you?
Back in '69, I don't know why. I just, well, a couple of episodes happened. One, I was teaching school and I got beat around the backstop by a bunch of kids. And I thought, this is crazy, you know, I'm only in my 20s and some of the young kids are beating me around the backstop. And so I started running and just continued on.
Yeah. So kids beating you behind a backstop motivated you to start this running journey?
I guess that's what I would say initially, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I talked to some people and they were runners, and there weren't very many runners in those days, so you were kind of an anomaly, you know. You just weren't very popular.
We'll get into that because I have a question that leads to that. So Jerry, your first race, if I'm doing my research correctly, was April 10th, 1969, right?
And actually, it was a race out in the first race that we had locally was out in Eagle Point, and it was a 10-mile. The first race I ran was over at Eastern Oregon's Spray, Oregon, which is the oldest half marathon in Oregon.
Wow. So what do you remember about that first race? Like step into the line. What comes to mind?
Well, it started with a shotgun and
Literally a shotgun.
Literally,
okay.
yes.
All right.
And you ran.
Can you imagine?
And you ran from Service Creek, which was just a spot in the road, to Spray, and there was a rodeo at Spray, and small town festivities. But there weren't very many races in Oregon. You know, there were only like 3 or 4. So.
Wow. Amber, how about you? You talk about that Rooster Crow race. Do you remember stepping to that line and remembering what that felt like?
Yeah, it was exciting, and we had all 5 of us were there, and we wore the shirts the day of the race, which sometimes is a little faux pas, but
Yeah.
we totally did it.
Yeah.
And it was exciting, and you had instant competition with just your brother and sister right there. So I remember just being nervous and excited.
Do you remember who won as far as your siblings go?
Pardon?
Do you remember who won the race as far as your siblings go?
Probably my sister.
Okay. I didn't know, You're a pretty fast runner yourself. I mean, you've beaten me a time or two.
It took me a while.
Okay.
It took me a while.
All right.
How old were you in that first race?
I want to say 12.
Well, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So it's good to start, right? You gotta start somewhere. Okay. So Jerry, you did an interview with KOBI back in April,
Right.
and on that interview, you actually had stated to them that you had run 72,000 miles, which, by the way, is enough to circle the globe twice, right?
I'm working on 3.
And you're working on your third time, right? So
Right.
that's incredible, by the way. As a fellow runner and just even a running enthusiast as I am, I'm thinking to myself, we have somebody in the valley that has done that many miles. To me, that was incredible. How on earth? Where did all that start?
Well, those are documented. Those
Right.
are the ones that are documented.
Okay.
I ran before that, but I didn't keep track of it.
Okay.
So I can't. I have
You
more
can't
than that.
technically
actually, but-
count it,
but I
right?
don't
Because if
count.
it's not on Strava, it doesn't count, right? Is that the
Well,
old cliche? Or
yeah.
On the notebook, it doesn't
If
count.
it's not in the notebook, it doesn't
Right.
count. Fair enough.
Exactly.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, but what people may be listening, thinking, what possessed him to start that, to even 1, document, and then 2, put in all those miles?
Well, someone told me at the time that it was important to write down what you did. So historically, what you did before, and if you have an injury or something else occurs, well, you can look back and see what happened. So that's probably why I started it, and I just continued it. A daily thing. It was just a very small notation on a piece of paper, and continued it on, and then I ended up with all these booklets that have the history.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're obviously a little older in years than I am.
Mm-hmm.
No disrespect, of course. I mean, you're an older saint, so to speak, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So
I'm still on the top side of the dirt, though.
there you go, and they amen to that, right? So I guess looking forward, I mean, not that we want this to happen to you by any means, but what do you want your running legacy to be?
Oh boy, I don't really. I've never really thought about a running legacy. You know, I haven't thought about a legacy. Period. I just live life on a daily basis and take it from there.
Yeah. But I mean, do you ever think like down the road, or I mean, do you have grandkids or anything like that would say, hey, when Grandpa's gone, we remember this about him?
Well, we have a daughter.
Okay.
But no, I've never thought about it.
Okay. All right. So how does the baton get passed from Sizzlers to now Southern Oregon Runners? Do we know that story?
Oh, Jerry knows
Yeah.
it well.
Yeah. Well, originally we didn't want to be. We wanted SOS was our, the 3 letters.
Yeah.
Southern Oregon and then Sizzlers. And we picked Sizzlers because we didn't want to be the Striders. There were a lot of groups that were called Striders in those days, particularly in California. And so we picked Sizzlers. Well, then along the way, we got kind of noted for being a restaurant. There was a Sizzler restaurant.
Yeah, I was thinking about that myself. Yeah.
And
I thought they were the sponsor, to be honest with you,
Yeah.
when I first heard the name back in high school, because I went to South Medford and graduated in '99. So, running is obviously in our community. And
Sure.
so, anyway.
So along the way, we just decided at one point we wanted something that more or less conveyed what we really were. Not, we're runners. So
Right.
Southern Oregon Runners. So we changed the name. I don't even recall what year it was.
2004.
2004? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a while.
So back in the early days of starting the club, right,
Mm-hmm.
Southern Oregon Sizzlers, and then now the name changed to Southern Oregon Runners, what was the greatest challenge you experienced in people coming out to run races?
Well, there weren't a lot of runners. I mean, we were mocked. People would drive by and they'd say, "Do you want to ride?" and "hut hut hut hut," and those kind of things.
Sure.
So when we first started races, and my wife Zella she's instrumental. I mean, we're a duo. We're a couple, and
Right.
and so anything that we did when we started races, well, she was instrumental in them also. It was getting people out because, like I say, you were mocked, and nobody likes to be made fun of. So it was a different era.
Yeah. Amber, what about nowadays, right? Fast forward. So when did you become president of Southern Oregon Runners?
I'm going on 2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the greatest challenge that you run into as the president of getting people to come out? Not only, I know you have a team behind you. It's not just you. You have a number of people behind you, but
I think just kind of now at this time, just competing with all the other events that are going on that same weekend. And then, there's a level of what do I get when I finish? Do I get a medal? People love finisher medals, so that's kind of a big draw. And coming from a little bit of an old school background, I cringe a little at the thought of finisher medals. I know that's terrible. People love them; they're great, but it's been a hurdle for me to kind of get over that and embrace it.
yeah. I gonna be selfishly admitting I do like the finisher medal. It does feel like a participation trophy, but I'll tell you, the first time I got a blue ribbon with Southern Oregon Runners, I think I cherished that more than the finishing medal that day because I was so excited about that blue ribbon more so than the finishing
Right.
medal. So,
Yeah.
so I think there's pluses and minuses from the sound of it. It could go both ways. So, why do you think? And this is really a question for both of you. Why do you think sometimes people get so discouraged in running?
Because it's hard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not an easy thing.
Right.
And a lot of people, especially after the first of the year, they make their resolution and they do okay for a month or 6 weeks, and then it goes by the wayside. It's difficult. There are days when anybody, Amber, myself, you don't really want to go out there, but you do.
And you really, at the end of the day, the worst part of it, I guess, is that you are your own worst enemy, right? So do you really want to go out and have to listen to yourself tell you can't do it or it hurts? No, you don't. So you don't, right? And you stay on the couch. And so I guess really the biggest hurdle of running is your own mental battle. So I guess that's the hardest part, right?
Right. Yeah, I heard a quote recently that you're lapping everyone that's on the couch right now.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind. You're lapping everyone that's on the couch right now.
And go-
I don't know, but it just resonated with me with what you're saying as far as that goes.
And I've been helping with the talent middle school girls, and I just keep telling myself, you're stronger than you think. And when that no, I can't do it comes into your head, you need to just say, I can, and just push through. And I think that's when you're able to go, no, I can do this, is when you really start to see your potential and what you're capable of and how much further you can go as a runner. And that is one of the most unique things about running, is you really just get to unlock how strong you can be. And it's just a personal battle, and it's cool to see people win that.
What is it like for you when you see young runners get it? Especially, I mean, that to me is so awesome to see, right?
All right, yeah, you want to make me cry.
Well, I don't want to, but people have been known to cry on this show, so that's not my heart. But
It is the most rewarding thing that I've ever experienced. I just did hill sprints with some kids, and
so for a non-runner, what's a hill sprint?
We go up a hill for as hard as we can for a duration of time. For my group, because I work with the slower girls a little bit, it was 2 minutes. 2 minutes as hard as you can. And we did this 3 times. And we went up Rap Lane. So we were going up there, and you could just see them just struggling. And I'm like, come on, you guys can do this, and it's just this minute where they believe they can do it, and they look so strong. It's amazing. I get goose pimples thinking about it, just because I see these little humans just accomplishing something they never thought they could, and they're doing it with their own little 2 feet, and that's such a magical thing, and that's really where I get so in love with running. It's just so cool that people can do so many cool things with 2 feet and some determination.
I mean, that's incredible. You're okay. It's okay. It's all right. You don't have to apologize. It's okay. So that leads into my next question is, as a runner, right, there are those lonely miles. Now, the three of us, we probably know what that's like because we've probably experienced a lonely mile or two. But for, again, somebody who's a non-runner, how would you explain like a lonely mile or a hard mile?
Well, I don't know. When I'm out there, I ran 5 miles this morning, and so when I'm out there,
Awesome, Jerry. He's like, just ran 5
It
miles
is
this
what
morning.
it is.
It's fine.
and you just get in a zone, is the only way I can explain it.
Okay.
And you just put one foot in front of the other, and you can think about a lot of things and mull things over and decide things and think. You can think on your own. There's nobody bothering you. So it's a good feeling.
Yeah. Have you ever had a lonely mile?
Oh yeah,
Amber?
Yeah. It's one of those things where you kind of just have those revelations, like I need to work on this, or what am I doing, or I really should. It's interesting. I'm kind of a strange, so I listen to hip hop while I run.
There you go. I was just gonna ask, like, who has headphones in,
So,
right?
like,
So that leads into what I
have
was
a
gonna ask
headphone.
next. So
But I'm
you're a
also
headphone
one of
guy.
those people that
Okay.
are, I'll talk to God while I'm running, listening to hip hop, and I'm like, I get how terrible this, work. I know, don't judge me.
There's no judgment. I
But
think that's
there's
hilarious.
just some moments where that's kind of where I
Yeah.
like to call it, my personal church.
Right.
You just kind of have those moments
Gotcha.
of,
Okay.
I've never worn headphones.
I was just gonna ask, Jerry. You do not strike me as a headphone guy, but I'm gonna ask.
No, that's
Never.
That's just a difference in.
Okay.
in,
That's a different sin. Is that the runner 10 commandments? Thou shalt not wear headphones.
Well, she's a student. She was a former student. Amber
Okay.
Was.
Oh, Amber was.
When
Okay.
you talk about
Gotcha.
passing the baton or
Gotcha.
whatever.
Yeah.
And she's done a great job.
I didn't
so.
know that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's so
So
great.
it's neat
There's
to-
the
it's neat-
connection. I was
it's
trying to
neat.
figure it out. There
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
neat
Okay.
to see.
So my famous Southern Oregon runner story is really lame, but here it is. So I show up. I turn 30. You talk about like trying to get back into it and find that rhythm again. I was a runner in high school, 3 years at South, lettered in cross country and lettered in track my last 2 years. Didn't letter my first year in track. I was only a lonely sophomore running the 3,000, which is terrible. I went and watched my nephew run the 3,000 on a side note, and I went home and I told my mom, I said, Mom, I love you. Thank you Thank you for coming and watching me run the 3,000 because it was awful. And then I hugged my wife because we were high school sweethearts. I said, babe, I love you more than ever. Thank you. She said, you watched the 3,000 today, didn't you? I said, I did. Thank you. I don't know how you endured, but thank you. It's terrible to watch. Anyway, back to Southern Oregon runners. So I show up, turn 30. I show up Shamrock. This is my first run in Central Point, Crater High School. You know, it's been there for years. You know, obviously Mike the Leprechaun's out there doing his thing and whatever, and which is awesome. And I show up and I'm getting my number and getting the safety pins and all that. And I look around the gym because everybody's in the gym, kind of warming up. It's March, so it's still a little chilly out here in the valley. And I look around and everybody's wearing headphones for the most part. You know, there's some that aren't, but most everybody's wearing headphones. And I'm like, I read the paper. I read the thing. It said no headphones. And I went up to, I don't know who the race director was, but I found him and I was like, hey, what's the deal with the headphones? He's like, well, we got to put that on there. It's a liability thing. But if you wear them, it's up to you. It's, you're taking liability on yourself.
Yeah, you get hit by cars.
Right. It's on you. It's not on us. And I was like, I thought it said no, and I didn't wear them, and I felt so just out of my mind, like I needed them, like Linus with his blanket. I just felt so beside myself. Ever since then, I shamefully have worn them probably in every race since. So, sorry, Jerry, I'm a headphone guy too.
That's okay.
I'm a headphone guy too. Yeah. And I have a friend that actually runs who listens to Conway Twitty. You talk about weird stuff, but he listens to like George Jones. I'm like, dude, throw some hip. I'm with you, Amber. Hip hop. There it is. Okay. So we talked about, discouragement. We talked about, those lonely miles, but what causes you to continue to do it day in and day out and persevering to be the good runners that you guys are?
To me, it's just like brushing my teeth. It's just something I do. And if I don't do it, I feel it. I feel like I need to, it's a release, obviously. It's just part of life.
How many days in a row have you run consistently?
I do 6 and then I take a day off.
Okay, so you do take a day off. How many days have you ever run consistently without taking a day off? Do you have a streak?
I only do 6.
Only 6?
6, that's it, yeah.
Never done any more than that.
Rest is equally as important, and a lot of people don't realize this, but the rest aspect is vitally important in running. You need to let your body heal up and that sort of thing. So.
Okay. Amber, how about you? How do you persevere to keep going? Or coach perseverance to keep going even, right?
Honestly, it's the kids make it easier to go for me because I'm a mom. I've definitely put myself on the back burner a lot. Well, no, I need to do this and this. And then when they were like, hey, we might want you to come run with us, I was like, oh, the kids are going to need me to show up and set an example. And once I'm out there, I'm thrilled, but it's not quite as natural as brushing teeth for me.
For you, as of yet.
It takes some serious negotiating sometimes with myself, but once you're out there, you feel so much better and it's amazing. And I'm like, why did I fight myself to get here? But
yeah.
But she's a youngie. She hasn't run 50 years yet.
No, I haven't.
It'll get to her.
It'll get there. Okay. All right. Well, there's hope for me too. So I'm going to throw my coaches under the bus. So I was coached by, in high school, Bill and Sandy. Bill and Sandy Rowan. Yeah.
Sure.
And so Bill Rowan, so if he ever hears this, hopefully not, he's not offended, but he never ran with us during cross country. He rode his bike all the time. Now, Sandy, on the other hand, for track, would run with us all the time. She ran with the girls mostly. But if we were lagging, man, she was just barking like a little Chihuahua dog. I love both of them dearly. I say that with respect, but they were great coaches. And I think coaching has a great part to play in running. How do you guys feel about coaching and running, and how crucial is that in your mind?
Well, I'm self-taught, so...
Oh, you're self-taught.
I
Okay.
didn't have a coach.
All right.
Marathoning, I was more of a marathoner. That was my favorite distance. But I didn't run in high school. And so everything that I've learned has been on my own. And, of course, in the early days, there weren't even any running magazines. There wasn't a Runner's World. It was just a different time, different era.
Yeah. Amber, how about you? Did you have any great coaches along the way?
I've had lots of great coaches. I was coached by Bob Jillian for a year, Justin Loftus, and then Lynn Kerrigan through high school, and they were wonderful. They always had their feet on the pavement with us doing the workouts, and I think that is that's huge.
I forgot about Susan Cahoon. She was our coach too.
Okay.
And at South as well. And then Leslie, I don't
Kaiser.
remember. Kaiser, was it? Oh, thank you for the last name because I didn't remember. I remembered Leslie, but she came my junior or senior year. We had a pretty good team though, so I don't know. We had great coaching. And so to me, I credit a lot of that running craze due to that, that coaching, that instilling in us to be good runners. And I think that's so important. That's why I love the hearing, about you being involved in the Talent Middle School. That's so awesome. So guys, is there a runner that really sticks out in your mind as like one of the best you've seen?
Well, undoubtedly the best one I have ever seen was Frank Shorter.
Yeah, he's pretty good too.
He was the Olympic gold medalist and silver medalist in the marathon.
Yeah.
And that group, he and Jack Batchelor, and there were a couple of them. They were from Florida, and they were smooth. They were smooth. And of course, Prefontaine. He was, the greatest race I ever saw was at the Olympic trials in '72 between he and a fellow from Arizona. I can't remember his name right now. But
That's okay.
yeah.
What was it
those are
like?
Probably.
What was it like to watch Pre?
Well, when I watched him, of course, he's become bigger in life after his death than he was beforehand. And so I was just, in those days, I was just watching another runner.
Yeah.
There wasn't the Nike, Nike aspect that's made him a hero.
Right.
But he was an excellent runner. George Young was who he competed against from Arizona, but he was a great runner. The smoothest though was Frank Shorter.
Well, didn't they compete right? That last race he did at Eugene,
They
right?
did,
At
yes.
Hayward.
Yeah,
They're
right
competing
before he-
against you right before his death. Yeah. That to me would be a race to go back and still watch, in my opinion.
Right.
Between those two, because they were both. Shorter was at the top of his game. Obviously, Pre's at the top of his game, looking towards looking towards Montreal, not Munich. To me, that would have been an incredible race to go and watch.
It was, and again, Shorter was more of a marathoner.
Right.
So the race, the shorter the event, Prefontaine had the advantage, but yeah, it was a good run.
Did you get to see that one?
I didn't see that
Okay.
one. No.
All right. Bummer. Oof. Gives me goosebumps thinking about it. My Prefontaine connection is my parents both went to Marshfield, and my dad was a high jumper during Pre's, I think last years of high school there. And my dad's story is Pre stepped on his foot as my dad was getting ready to come on the track, and he looks back at my dad and says, "Freshman, get off my track." And so my dad's like, that's the only interaction he ever had with Prefontaine. And even in that moment, I'm thinking, I could kind of see that maybe happening, that he was that bold to say that was his track. And now, ironically enough, it is his track.
Sure.
They've named it after him since. So guys, what has running taught you over the years? Now, I say over the years because, Jerry, you've been doing it a little while, and Amber, you've been doing it a little bit too. So not nearly as long as Jerry, but, none of us
20-some
can.
odd years
Yeah,
off and
right,
off, yeah.
right, exactly. But what has running taught you?
Lots of things. Yeah, you're braver than you think. You're stronger than you think. You're capable of way more than you can ever imagine. And it's taught me a lot too, how important it is to have family and community. I married my husband, who was part of the Southern Oregon Sizzlers, and his family and my family would meet every Sunday at Valley of the Rogue and go running. His sister's my best friend. Running teaches you about not only the solo journey, but what it means to also have a community of people that are there to encourage you and push you on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Did you get married on a track?
No.
Okay,
we got
just
married in church.
Just checking. All right, just checking. So running can help in relationships is what I'm also hearing too. You never know. Okay, Jerry, how about you?
It's taught me so many things. Just as Amber just mentioned, a lot of those things too. Just to be persistent. That's really a huge thing, and it's not only in running but in life, because life is like the hills that we run. It goes up and it goes down. And there are flat spots, and then there are some not so flat spots. I think that's probably the main number one thing that it's taught me, is that it's very similar to life.
Yeah. Have you ever had that one thought that while you're running and you're like, that is going to be the game changer, there it is? Do you have any of those moments?
Dead silence.
Dead silence, yeah. I ask because that for me, when I'm out running, that's what happens to me, and that's why I was wondering if there's any like profound things that just come to your head while you're running, or just any crazy stuff that you're like, now I need to go do that because of this moment. I don't know. Like I said, it's crazy thoughts. So.
I mean, I think so, but I don't know that I could put them into words that would make me sound.
If I put a rap beat to
way
it, would that
too
help?
crazy.
Okay, sorry. Making fun of you a little bit there. Making fun of you a little bit. Okay, so many times, and you guys probably hear this too, and Jerry, you kind of talked about a little bit earlier, which was this idea that, so many people I meet say, I hate running. What would your response be to that?
I guess I'd ask them, first of all, well, what do you hate about it? And why? And see what their response was. Just to say that is a pretty huge statement,
Yeah, hate is such a strong word anyway, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I just hate running. Running is dumb. It's boring.
Right.
I have friends that say, you pay money, Southern Oregon runners, you pay money to go run. You could do it for free. You know that, right? I'm like, yeah, but it's the competition. It's the community. It's, the finishing medal. Okay, it's not the finishing medal.
It's the supporting all the great causes.
Exactly. It's all of those things. But I hear so many times people say, I hate running. And I'm like, why? What is it about it that you hate?
There are a lot of things that are easier to do. I mean, you can go ride a four-wheeler or whatever, and go on a jet ski. Those are things that you don't... Running's work. And so I would say that those are things that probably... There's just a lot of easier things to do in life than to go out and exercise or run.
Yeah. Amber, how about you? What do you think of when you hear that statement of people saying, I hate running?
Yeah, I kind of like, it's hard. There's moments where I hate running too. But then you get done, right? Or you get halfway in, or you get a mile in, and suddenly, you love it again. It's like a relationship, Sometimes you're on and sometimes you're off.
I really like that paradigm though, right? Life and then the relationship, right? Because again, sometimes you're really on it and you're loving it, and sometimes it's hard, and you got some up and down hills like a relationship would be. And I mean, no relationship I've ever had or even been in, it's ever been just smooth path. There's never been any hiccups along the. Of course there has, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
And it teaches you, commitment. And I think it's a great quality to, learn as a child, or, even as an adult, what it takes. You have to be committed, and there are going to be hard times, and you are going to have plantar fasciitis, or...
That's the worst, by the way. If you don't know what that is, go Google that. Plantar fasciitis is the worst. I've had it myself.
I
Yeah.
have it now, and I'm just running.
Oh, are you? Oh, you're running anyway.
Just live for the first hour of your wake-up time, and then you're fine.
Yeah. I was lucky. I had it a while back, and the smoke came in, and so it kind of naturally had to stop anyway. At least I did, and that's what helped clear it up. When the smoke left, the plantar fasciitis left, which I was grateful for. So guys, greatest challenge of the club right now. I know we kind of talked about getting people out and stuff, but Amber, talk about that. Why should people come be a part of Southern Oregon Runners Club, in your mind?
In my mind?
Yeah.
Because I think it is a community of some of the coolest people that I've ever met. And the hearts of these people are so amazing. Every race director has the same kind of ideas and mission, which is, what can we do to reach out to the youth community and help them learn about running? And how can we, make future presidents and race directors? And when you come to a race, we're standing there, we're yelling for you, whether you're the guy in the shorty shorts doing 15 or the lady who just started running and decided to, go on a weight loss journey and it took her 45 minutes to do the 5K. We're an all-inclusive group, and it's just a place where you get to be your own little weirdo, and we love you for it. And that's what I love best about the club.
Is that what you envisioned, Jerry, when you guys started it? What she
I
described?
don't think we really had a vision when we started.
Oh, okay.
No, and that's being honest about it. But I think running is so personal, and anyone can it's anyone can run. If you're physically able, you may be slow, you may be faster than someone else, or you may not. But it's not like you don't have to have a team like in football or basketball. You can go out and run anytime, whether you're at home, whether you're on a trip, wherever you are, visiting somebody. So I think it's just that's a personal thing that you have the ability to do it any place, anytime. And it's a great way to see things, When we go somewhere, I take my running shoes and it's an interesting way to see different parts of whatever town, city, location you're in.
Do you have a favorite race, Jerry?
Oh, gosh. Locally, Pear Blossom.
I wonder why. Why the Pear Blossom?
Well, we organized it for 35 years, so that's probably has something to do
All
with
right,
it.
maybe.
But Boston, the Boston Marathon,
Oh, wow.
that
Okay.
was one of my favorites, and have a very good friend who directs that race, Dave McGilvery. In fact, he'll be out here in Medford next February.
Wow.
Other than that, favorite race, oh boy, I don't know. I ran the first marathon in Oregon, and that was Trails End Marathon in Seaside, and so it has some special meaning just because it was the first one in Oregon. I like every race, though, for something different. No, they all have something different. The Pioneer race that the club puts on is our oldest
And that's done right here in Phoenix,
right?
right
Here in Phoenix,
Yeah. And it's coming up.
November 16th.
November 16th, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm registered for that one, by the way.
And Amber and I think Mike Davis you guys are directing that, right?
This year.
Yeah, this year.
Okay.
But it's got to be a favorite for locally too. But I like all the races.
Yeah, okay. Amber, do you have a favorite race that comes to mind?
My favorite pastime race is definitely Pioneer.
Okay.
Lots of really great memories. Running with my dad the 9 mile. And then 2 years ago, I tried to take a stab at my 17-year-old self to try and beat her. No, didn't happen.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of chasing after 17-year-old Amber someday. Maybe not this year, but next year when I'm not race directing.
What was your 5K time at 17?
I don't remember.
Okay,
It was
all right.
not great. I think it was 23 or 24 or something like that. Was it?
I'm just curious. Yeah. I got to be honest, when I turned 30, like I talked about, the Shamrock Run, and I fell out of love with running. I don't know what happened, but I did. And I remember last year, a friend of mine who I think became a member kind of late or whatever, challenged me. She said, I bet, and maybe even it was my wife, so we'll give credit where credit's due, maybe equally parts, but my wife said, I bet you can't run a 5K every month for a whole year. I bet you can't do that.
Ah, the challenge.
And I was like, challenge accepted. It got dicey towards the end because we were going to Disney World. Our family got blessed to go to Disney World. And so I was scouring the internet for a race to do. And luckily for me, the gal that, her name is Debbie, that helped pay for our trip to Disney World, found a race in SeaWorld. And so I ran through SeaWorld in a gingerbread costume in Florida. In a gingerbread costume.
hot.
It was very hot. I was dripping. I was a very hot gingerbread man. But anyway, Jerry's just shaking his head. He's like, that's not okay. Runners shouldn't wear gingerbread costumes. They shouldn't. Last year I wore a turkey suit to the turkey trot, just so you know.
Doing it again, he's like,
I'm doing it again,
Okay.
so I'm going to help him out and
All
do it
right.
again. Okay. But my thought is that running has to be fun, right? Has to be exciting. But I think so many times we look at activities like this and we think, oh, it's going to require work, maybe too much work. And I think sometimes people just want to stay away from that or shy away from that. How I know we kind of talked about it a little bit, but how do you counteract that? Like, how do you put aside that voice in our head that says, don't go run?
Well, I think Amber pretty much alluded to it, that you feel badly if you don't go. And I guess if someone was trying to tell me that, I would just say, you have a choice. Get off your butt and get out there, or just sit around and and then lay around.
Yeah.
You have a choice.
Yeah.
Life is full of choices, and we all have the right to make them. So don't just talk about it, do it.
Yeah. Amber, what would you say to that too? Just again, eliminating the voices in our heads.
I would say when that voice is the loudest is when you're right there for that make or break moment. When you're about ready to just say, I don't want to do this, and you go out there. I think that's when you kind of level up in your mental game a little bit. And that's when I kind of encourage the kiddos, like, this is the time. This is where you get tougher mentally. Because at the end of the day, anybody who's physically able can run. But you have to be mentally tough, right? And you have to be mentally tough for life.
Yeah.
And so another good reason why running is awesome is because it just makes you mentally tough. So I would say push past that. It's a liar.
I like that. It's a liar.
It's a liar.
I like that.
I ran 29 marathons, and marathon's 26.2 miles. Every time you're in a marathon, there's going to be a certain time in that race when you just want to say, the heck with it. I'm done. I'm finished. I don't want to do it anymore. But you got to work through that. And if you can get through it, there'll be an end. There's an end point too.
There's a finish line.
Yes, there's a finish line.
Yeah.
And so it's very gratifying if you can push through that.
Okay, last question, then we're going to play a game. But I want to give you a chance to talk about the club. So last question, then we're going to talk about the club, okay?
Okay.
So last question is this, and we'll play our game. Well, we'll ask the question, then we'll hear about the club, and then we'll play the game. That's the
Okay.
order. I think I got that down. Anyway, we'll follow along here. So where do you guys find your inspiration from? They're both looking at each other. They're like, who wants to go first? Oh, man.
As a grown-up?
Sure, grown up, as an adult, I don't know. Take it as you will. Where do you get your greatest source of inspiration from?
To run?
To run, or just in life in general? Sure, yeah. However you take that question, Jerry.
I look forward to each day.
Okay.
I mean, life's a gift.
Yeah,
There
it
are a
is.
lot of people that have awful, horrible situations, and I'm lucky. I can still get out there and run. I'm still healthy, knock on wood. But I don't know. I think that you have to have a positive attitude, and I think I do. I enjoy life. I look forward to each day. That's all. That's
Okay. Nothing you draw inspiration from to help get you going or get you motivated?
well. I'm like Amber.
2000
I have a nice.
90s
mean,
hip hop? No,
I have a-
that doesn't do it.
I have a lovely wife and
Okay.
a lovely daughter, and
Yeah.
and that certainly lends to it too.
Okay. Amber, how about you? You had plenty of time to think about this.
I
so
know,
go-
you're killing me.
Yeah.
Man, so many things. There's so many things to be inspired by. First of all, love seeing Jerry when I'm taking my kids to school. That's inspiring to see him basically every day that I take the boys to school.
Is he out running when you're taking him to school?
We're neighbors, basically.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right.
And I'm like, there's Jerry.
And he's running and I'm not.
Yeah,
Oh.
later.
She does it later.
Maybe.
Nice. Maybe. Okay.
My kids,
Okay.
the other kids, my nieces. I have boys. So for me, I think to myself, how can I be the best possible example of, a strong, humble, caring, loving woman for these nieces of mine or girls that I get to be part of their lives in cross country. So for me, I guess my inspiration is, I don't know.
I guess part of
be
the
inspiring.
yeah, I guess part of the reason why I asked that is sometimes we need something to inspire us to do something great. Sometimes, right? Or even just do the normal, right? Sometimes we need a motivation to get going. And I think for some, running could be that, right? If they find that inspiration to find a reason why. Maybe it's to have a better health, to be with their kids more, to run with them more, or maybe, in Jerry's case, of just having that extra drive, making it like the routine in life, right? The inspiration to get up and do it, like it becomes routine. I guess that's the reason why I was asking that question that way. So that's awesome. So Amber, let's talk about the club.
Okay.
So how many races are there a year? We're going to play club trivia, I feel like, right?
No, I think we're at 18 coming 2020.
Okay. Because I know we're adding some. I say we because I'm a member of the club as well.
So we are adding Camelback.
Right.
And we are,
Which is
Great.
brutal.
which is, I
It's
know
great.
it's brutal, but it's one of
brutal.
those races that is just loved.
Yeah.
So it's
And you get to finish on the track, which I love.
yeah,
So
it's an honor to have it to be part of our
That's
club
awesome.
officially because it basically was a club
Well,
type of thing.
actually, my wife and I, it was 1969, December 31st, which is my birthday, so I know exactly when it was. And
I love the date trivia, by the way.
know.
Jerry, you just pull them out of nowhere. Just like, let me just go to that encyclopedia. Okay, there it is.
And
All right.
I went out for a run
Okay.
and ran the Camelback run. I didn't, when I went back and I told my wife, I said, "This is crazy run, this course," and it's like a Camelback, and so that's where the name came from.
Yeah,
Camelback.
yeah. It's a tough race.
Yeah.
It is tough.
It's a tough race. I've only done the 5K. I've never done the 9 mile. No, thank you.
I've
Drive
never
it.
ran it.
I don't even think I want to drive it,
Right, I know.
but so we got Camelback coming in 2020, so that's cool.
We do have Camelback coming in
Okay.
2020. We are retiring the couple shuffle.
Okay, I'm
Just-
devastated by that.
I know.
I broke my Nike sunglasses there, so maybe I'm a little bitter about it
Yeah,
still.
so maybe it's okay.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
So we're gonna, races have come and gone
Yeah.
lots of times
Yeah.
throughout the history of the club. We're gonna try this out.
Good. I like
So
it.
We're excited.
So we have 2 races still if people want to participate in. We have, by the time this airs, Pioneer will be on the horizon.
16th.
November
at
16th.
Phoenix High School.
Right. And then the big one,
Turkey Trot.
Turkey Trot, right? That's exciting.
Turkey Trot is very exciting.
And you added something this year to Turkey
the
Trot.
5K.
Yeah, that's important.
So, the 2 miles great. What we found was a lot of families like to walk that 2 mile.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard when you are wanting to run
Yes.
2 mile to wade through families.
Yes.
So we were like, hey, let's just add a 5K. 5K, we'll send it out the same way that the 8 mile people are going and see how it goes.
Yeah.
So we're really excited to add that. And we're really, really excited for this race because it is also our major funder for our Southern Oregon Runners shoes for student athletes. So we have a fund up at Rogue Valley Runners. And if a coach reaches out to us and says, hey, I just got this kid who just needs a new pair of shoes, we send them to RVR. They go get shoes and they take it out of that fund. So we've been so fortunate to be able to give, I think we're up to $2,300 worth of kids' shoes.
$2,300?
I've had the personal joy of going and getting a pair of shoes.
I need that
and
said
giving
again.
them.
Can you say that one more time? I'm not going to interrupt you. Say it one more time, nice and clear, if you don't mind.
We have given $2,300 in shoes for kiddos
That's
across
awesome.
the valley, and it's a slow process to get that kind of word out, but it's starting to get out, and to take away that burden of not being able to shoe, or take away the obstacle of a child who wants to run but it's like, I can't because I don't have good shoes, to be able to take that away and give them the gift of running, it's priceless. It's worth it. It's worth every 5 a.m. wake up to set up the finish line, and plus I get out of Thanksgiving dinner cooking, so
I thought that's why you were the race director. All right, now I know why.
don't tell my husband.
I won't. We'll keep it a secret. Nobody will know that that's why you're doing Turkey
Right,
Trot.
good.
So,
A couple of other things too. If I
yeah,
can just
please. Yeah,
interject
please.
here.
Absolutely, Jerry.
That
Of
the
course,
club-
anytime.
The club is, the all-weather tracks that are in the valley. The club is donated to every one of them. So that's another place that there's been some funding. And then Amber and Mike Davis and that crew, they initiated the entry fee for kids to be paid for the races from what the club makes. So there are some things that people don't really, the club really, we don't shout it out enough probably, and probably we should do more of that. But it's just not the club doing stuff for the club. It's doing for other things too.
Well, and I think that's the part that people sometimes have the disconnect with, right? I know I did. I'm going to raise my hand to this. Is okay. I'm paying my $20 or my $15, depending on if I'm a member or non-member, right? 20 if I'm a non, 15 if I'm a member, right? What does that 15 go to? Does it really go to this race that has been going on for, I think it was. I'm spacing on the name, but there's one race that had just celebrated like 50 years.
Oh,
or
Stagecoach,
something.
yes.
Stagecoach. Thank you. And I was thinking to myself, isn't this stuff already paid for? I mean, the timer stuff's already done, and so what does that money really go to?
Well, Stagecoach, yeah.
Ju-
Stagecoach
just-
is a good example
Yeah,
because
good.
that goes, the fees for that go to the Pear Blossom Scholarship.
Good. And see, that's
So,
important
see-
to remember, right? Is
Yeah.
that
Right.
these fees aren't just like going to somebody's
No.
pocket,
No,
right?
no. Everybody is volunteer. I'm a volunteer. Everybody volunteers their time. We pay the timing guy because he's got to travel the trailer out there and set up a higi. It's nothing. Like everybody what he gets paid is not nearly as much what work, because what also goes in is him sitting there putting stickers on every single bib on a Friday night after he's been working for 8 or 10 hours.
Right.
So I think the big thing is this club is run 100% on volunteers, and it's motivated by the heart, for the love of running, for the kids, the community. And that's just something that I think a lot of people don't realize, And on top of that, like you said, we've also been able to give
Talent
Middle School in Lincoln
yeah.
Savage. Basically, if a school were to approach us and say, hey, we're kind of really hurting and we need X, Y, or Z, I'd be able to go to the executive team or the board and go, hey, where can we help this?
For running.
Running.
Yeah.
For running.
For
Yeah.
running,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a cool opportunity. And then, like Jerry mentioned, in 2020, we're not even charging kids this year for races. So it used to be $7. As soon as January Frostbite hits, it'll be a 0 entry fee for kids that are 18 and under, because I was a high schooler who was 18, October birthdays. And
Yeah.
so we'll be able to do that. Jackson County Physical Therapy is going to put on little clinics with us, and we're going to be able to just kind of pour into those kids more. So it's really cool.
Well,
We've also donated to the bike path too, because a lot of runners use it.
Yeah,
So there's
absolutely.
just a lot of things like that.
yeah, and I think as the average runner, not only runner but member of the club, because as I said, I'm a proud member. I think we failed to see those things or failed to know those things, and of course, it's hard to get the word out. It's hard to, because sometimes when you get the word out, hey, we're going to do this, you might have 10 other people say, no, I don't think we should do that. We should do this, and it's like, no, that's why we have an executive board. That's why we have a president. That's why we have people that are in those positions for a reason. And I think, to me, I'm proud to say I'm a member, and I'm proud to be a part of the races. And I'm disappointed when I'm out of town and I can't do a race. I'm still disappointed that I didn't get to do the Talent Harvest Festival run. I've loved that race. I love the downhill to it. It's so awesome. And of course, I happened to fall on Prefontaine weekend.
That was a
and-
hiatus anyways. So
Oh,
it was
okay.
actually at the Rogue XC.
Okay.
So we called it the Talent Harvest Festival, went
Yeah.
cross country.
But
Okay.
it'll be back next year.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I did have fun at that one. Of course, it fell on the Prefontaine weekend, and I didn't even
Yeah,
end up going to
I know.
that, which I was disappointed about. Still mad about that. But Amber, how can people sign up to be a member? What can people do if somebody's hearing this who's a community member? Because again, I don't know where the show goes. I don't know who hears it. I really don't. We talked about that a little pre-show. But how can someone, how can they get involved if they're like, man, I want to volunteer. I got a free Saturday or whatever. But then how can they also become a member?
So if they go to sorunners.org, so sorunners.org, they can sign up to become a member. They can contact us. all of the emails, when you send it to info@sorunners.org, comes straight to my email, the president herself. So rest assured, like they'll get responded to.
Yeah.
If you're a business and you're thinking, wow, we really like what they're kind of doing here and we want to join forces with them, again, info@sorunners.org. We'd be thrilled to have as many community partners to make running accessible to as many kids as possible, as many adults as possible. Just kind of open up our doors to
Yeah.
beginners or...
And going back to it, I think that's the legacy maybe that maybe you want to have, Jerry. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm putting words in your mouth. If I am, forgive me. But maybe that's the legacy you want to leave, right? Is you've now kind of, in a sense, maybe passed the baton a little bit, using a running term, track term more or less, not a distance term, but a track term, passing that baton to Amber and some others to say, hey guys, this is maybe again, and you laughed about it, but maybe that's not the vision you had, but now look at this vision that has happened, or this club that has now surpassed maybe some expectations. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think anytime you do whatever you do, whether it's a business or an organization, you're not going to do it forever. And if you can have somebody step in and take over, and it's like when we did Pear Blossom, when we turned it over to the YMCA, and they've done a great job. Amber's done a great job. Mike Davis done a great job. The rest of the crew, all our race directors. It's very gratifying to see that it will continue on and be a viable organization and do better than what you did before. You hope that it'll do better than what you did before. At least that's what I would hope anyway.
It's like raising kids, right? Like you want them to be better than you were.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, growing up in the club,
Yeah.
Jerry and Irish Mike and Charles Hodge and all of them.
Yeah, there's so many great runners. Yeah.
Part of the club. So for me, I feel this extra weight to just kind of carry on the tradition and kind of bring what I remember feeling to life again as the president, and how it was such a family included event and all those great memories that the club was able to provide me and my family as kids. It's something I want to do for everybody else, because Jerry and Irish Mike and all of them made that happen for me.
This is our 50th anniversary.
Yeah, thank you. I was going to say, somebody going to talk about that? I was going to bring it up. So okay.
I mean, that's awesome. 50 years that an organization's been around.
Yeah,
and
not a lot of people can say that, by the way.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
That's what I'm excited about as well.
And that has not existed because of one or two people. It's existed because of a lot of people.
Right. I mean, you guys are sitting here with me, but there's so many others, as we've mentioned, that really are behind the scenes, that are shoulder to shoulder with you, in the fight, in the race, in the run, whatever it may be.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
An exceptional group of people who are incredibly supportive, and I just feel so fortunate to have so many people that want to work so hard for free.
Yeah. Because I mean, it is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I give them a T-shirt,
Yeah, you're like, you get a T-shirt. Hey, you know how many runner shirts I have? A lot. I love T-shirts probably more than finishing medals. I just want to put that out there. So let's talk about Turkey Trot for a quick second. You are actually being very generous, right? As we're going to do a promotion as part of my show. So can we talk about that promotion for a minute? So it's going to take place in November. We're going to start the first Wednesday in November with this promotion. Okay. So stay tuned for that. But tell us what people get to be a part of just by commenting and liking our Facebook post. What they're going to get from the club. So you remember this?
We are going to offer up a family 4-pack, including shirts, to run the Turkey Trot.
Right. So you get shirts and entry, right? Shirts and entry for 4, of course. Yeah. So now they can be 4 friends even, right?
4 of whoever.
We're just going to do 4 of whoever.
4 free entries.
So that's like a $98 value. We did the math on that. Somebody in accounting did that for us. I'm not a math guy. They crunched some numbers. MIT got involved, but something. Anyway, we got the Rolodex, or the what is that? The beaded one. What was that? Do you remember that
abacus.
one? Abacus, Jerry.
Yeah,
I was trying to help you out. Thank you. The abacus. Sorry, that was an old joke, Jerry. I had to get in an old
That's
joke. That
all
was my
right.
only old joke. Okay.
We
That was-
also do a
Yeah.
canned food drive for access.
Yes, so that's important to talk about, too.
And we do a little turkey dash for kids that are like 5, 6 years old. Just a little 100-yarder. We encourage everybody to bring food for access. Last year we took 2 giant barrels and they were overflowing. When you see the barrels, you guys, they are for the cans and not trash. I don't
Yes.
want to pick banana peels. out
Please,
again this
please
year,
don't pick
please.
out banana peels. No, don't be that guy. Don't be that gal.
You know it was a guy.
It was a dude. It was totally a dude. Girls know better, right? So, and I'm hearing rumors that there could be a guy in a turkey suit,
There
There could be.
turkey.
a cooked turkey. So, Jerry, you might have to come out for that. So Amber, I'm going to hand this to you. This is our magical cup, North Carolina. So, we're going to play our game now. It's called Senseless. So, you get to roll first. So, you're going to roll the die that's inside there. Yep, there really is one in there, trust me. And you get to number 4. So, you get to answer this question, a game we like to call Senseless. So, Amber, what sound or noise do you love to hear?
Is that sarcastic?
No, I'm serious. Like, what sound or noise do you... Not everything's sarcastic. Wow.
Sorry, in my
It's
world it
okay.
is.
Yeah, I know. Middle school, younger kids, everything's sarcastic.
I love the sound of rain on a tin roof, not to sound like Matchbox 20 or whatever that
Wow.
band is.
Yeah.
But it's really comforting.
Yeah. Rain on a tin roof.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Jerry, you get to roll, buddy.
All right.
All right. You got a number
Number
one
one.
because you are number 1, right? So here we go. How do others see you? Uh-oh.
Boy, you'd have to ask him.
Now, that was sarcastic. Too.
Yeah.
But how do others see you?
I would. Oh man, I don't know. I would hope that they see me as just someone who's a hardworking individual, sincere. All of the 12 things of the Boy Scout law: trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly.
I don't know
was
the
an
Boy
Eagle-
Scout
I
law.
was an- I
You
was
were an Eagle Scout too?
yeah,
Oh,
so-
Make it
man.
up.
Jerry. He is like a
Tough
jack of all
question.
trades.
Tough question.
Okay, tough question though, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we'll just leave it at as a tough question. Okay, guys. Any last thing on the club? Anything you guys want to leave with? I'll leave you with the last word or comment or anything like that, and then I'll kind of wrap up.
Oh, I don't know. We hope that you will come check us out. Try a race. If you're unsure, send me an email. We'll work something out, or you can just kind of come out and be a part of our community. I think you'll fall in love.
I know I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I was so honored last year. I was competing against, and I'm not going to say his last name because I don't think I know his last name. Josh is his first name. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I was winning my age group all year long for Southern Oregon Runners. It was the first year I had done like every race I could, right? Schedule allowed. And I was so excited to see that trophy at the end of the year. And then he beats me out at the last like 3 races. And I'm just like, are you kidding me? So I ended up getting second. So this year, I'm hoping all goes according to plan. I'm leading my age group right now. Maybe I shouldn't say that because now others, well, I do want
Josh
others
might
to.
hear this. and
I know
he
Josh
start
might
running
hear this
races.
and then start running races and then somehow get like 40,000 points. Who knows? I don't know. But you can also be runner of the year, which is kind of a cool thing. What that is basically you get points for every race that you do, whether you place or don't place. You get points, which is fun. Who doesn't want to win points? And you might even get a finishing medal out of it.
Yeah, we do like a pizza party, and everyone who plays is invited.
Yeah.
Oh, we are doing a 50-year party.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. That's
Yeah.
gonna be a lot of fun.
So if you're a Southern Oregon runner, you should have gotten an email about that. I know I
Yeah.
did. And so please come be a part of that as well, right? It's going to be a fun
It's our
event.
golden party. We're looking
Golden
forward to seeing
party.
everybody not in their running clothes.
I think somebody should show up in their running clothes.
If they
maybe.
do, it must be 1969
attire,
running attire.
like some Frank Shorter shorts.
We know of someone who might do that.
We do.
That's
I'm hoping.
We won't mention.
gonna be embarrassing if that
happen, but-
happens. All right, well, guys.
Nah.
Okay. Well, guys, thanks so much. I know you guys could have
Thank
been
you.
anywhere but here. I mean, you took some time. Jerry was maybe a little apprehensive. I don't know. Maybe you weren't. Okay, he was
I
shaking his
was.
head. Amber's like, no, please don't. But I think it's been good, right? It's been
Yes.
good to get the
Been
word
fun.
out. It's been fun.
fun.
I hope.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, as we get on out of here, this, of course, has been Other People's Shoes. And, of course, I am your host, Neil Matthews. I want to thank my guests so much. Amber and Jerry, for giving me a few moments today. Wasn't it great to learn more about Southern Oregon runners? I know I had a good time with these guys. Wealth of knowledge there, both ends. Hey, stay tuned next week. Hope your bags are packed. We're taking a trip out to Pennsylvania to sit down with my guests next week. We're going to get back to square one. What do I mean by that? Well, guess you'll have to stay tuned for Wednesday when that happens. So stay tuned for that as we try on another pair of shoes 2 times next week. Again, this, of course, has been Other People's Shoes. I'm your host, Neil Matthews. Join us next Wednesday. And remember, when you walk in other people's shoes, really do get a different perspective on life. Of course, I am your host, Neil Matthews. Can't wait till then. Thank you so much for joining us on Other People's Shoes. Of course, I am your host, Neil Matthews. Thank you again for giving us a few moments this week. I don't know about you, today's episode really spoke to me. Both Amber and Jerry had so many great points, but one point in particular that will really stand out for me was first Amber's passion for coaching. And to see those young ladies that she was referring to running up that hill, she was almost in tears over that. And that to me was very impactful. The other impactful thing for me was Jerry talking about how running for him is almost like brushing his teeth. It's just so natural. I dream and aspire to be that way as a runner. How about you? Maybe you're not a runner yet, but hopefully today's episode maybe get you off the starting line and into the race itself and into the right lane that you should be in. At least that's my hope. Hey, we're still doing our book giveaway, and that's of course involving Tracy Maxfield. She has a signed copy of Escaping the Rabbit Hole, My Journey Through Depression. And here's Tracy for more.
Hi, I'm Tracy Maxfield, and I was on podcast Other People's Shoes a couple of weeks ago talking about depression and my journey from the rabbit hole. In fact, I wrote a book, Escaping the Rabbit Hole, My Journey Through Depression. I have given a signed copy of my book that they can give away. I hope you enjoy my book.
Thank you, Tracy, so much. And again, if you'd like to get your copy of the book, it's pretty simple. Just go to facebook.com under Other People's Shoes and, of course, comment there below and we will enter you into our contest. For a second entry, you can do so at instagram.com under OPS Podcast Show and, of course, hashtag it Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and that'll get you an entry. For a third entry, you, of course, can go over to Twitter and tweet us at People's Shoes under the hashtag Escaping the Rabbit Hole, and that'll get you entered. And then, of course, for a fourth entry, we would just ask you to just give us a review on iTunes. Pretty simple. Get your 4 entries into this contest, and of course, you have a chance to win a signed copy of Escaping the Rabbit Hole by Tracy Maxfield. Again, remember, when you walk in other people's shoes, you really do get a different perspective on life. I'm Neil Matthews. Thank you so much. Stay tuned till next week.